What is up, everybody? It is the Koosh Doctor here, back with another video. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Sorry I haven't made one for about a week or so. I've had a few things going on with work, and I don't get to do this full time, but I appreciate you guys. I've had a ton of likes, comments, subscriptions, and everything on my other videos, and I appreciate that a ton. I know the tier lists are really popular, so I'll try to keep those coming out every couple of weeks. Also, super exciting right now because they just announced in the next update the Eldar are going to be coming, so we get to involve them in the tier list. That is going to be fantastic. So buckle in, get your pens and pencils, and let's do some knowledge drop here on free to play and what you need to focus on, what you need to do. We're going to go through some tips. Last time I did 5. I'll probably do roughly 5 again this time, but they're going to kind of flip back and forth a little bit. So I will section them out officially, but you will notice a lot of the concepts are kind of bouncing around. So hopefully you can follow it all right. If you guys have any questions, as always, leave me a comment. I'll get to them as fast as I can, and hopefully we can all learn something together. All right, first tip. First tip is patience. Patience, patience, patience. I cannot stress this enough. If you are a free to play player, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Okay? Sometimes you're going to feel left out because you can't spend money on the game. You can't get all the cool legendary heroes. Maybe you don't get lucky in the beginning and get a cool drop on one of your, first 20 that fall down. That's okay. It's okay. You can use the free to play characters even if you don't get lucky and get a cool drop. All of those characters are viable. Yes, right now there's a few types of characters that are more powerful, but you have access to a couple of those from very early on in the game. You can level them up, you can make them more powerful, you can focus on them, and you will still have a strong team. You'll still do well in arena. You'll still be able to progress through the campaign really well. These legendary characters that everybody gets, they are not usable in every mode. And so we are going to go through that a little bit. When we talk about the focus section, what you want to focus on, the campaign in the beginning is going to be the most important. As you level up through the campaign, that is then going to, I use the term waterfall, it's going to waterfall into other things. As your campaign levels up, you will then unlock. So let's talk about this a little bit, right? So we're going to go over this a little bit too. Again, this is going to kind of bounce around a lot, but I want you guys to kind of understand all the concepts. So when you first start the game, you are going to get the Indomitus campaign, right? That's going to be the main campaign. They set the most resources, the most character shards and everything are early on in this, so you don't even have to progress really far into the main campaign because you have access to a lot of things that you need really early on. And then when we go into some of our other tips here, we're going to talk about replaying levels. You don't have to make it very far. Really, the first 3 levels are going to be the most important, the first 3 sets. So as you can see, these first 5 here are kind of what you go through as the introduction, where you're learning how to play. Then you go through the next set, again, kind of teaching you how to play, leveling up your characters a little bit, and it's not until you hit 15 when you can get Makatep that you really start to have the ability to get rewards. Um, as those rewards come out, that is going to roll us into number 2. Number 2 is pay attention to those rewards, right? We're going to be patient. We're going to talk about efficient resource use in a little bit as well. So pay attention to what the rewards are. Pay attention to what you're getting. You can replay levels a bunch of times. If you've never played these gotcha games before, if you've never played the ones where you grind and grind and grind and grind, maybe you're a 40K fan, you came into this game. I don't know, maybe you play something else all the time in these mobile games and you're not used to this. One of the awesome things that this game system does is it will show you the rewards and it will show you what those rewards are and if you can use them. So for instance, I'm looking at my screen here, right? So I can see certain levels are going to give me character shards. In the beginning, that's going to be one of the most important things to focus your energy on, right? So when we talk about rewards, when we get into our later tip about resource use, we're going to talk a little bit about your energy, what's the most important resources, which ones take the longest to refresh right now. That may change, we hope, in the future, but it's important to pay attention to those things to see what you can do. So in the beginning, as you beat these levels, if you watched my other tips and tricks video, one of the things I talk about is how important it is to what we call 3 star, 3 medal level. You get 3 medals, right? So in the beginning, let's go up to one of my levels that I haven't got 3 medals on, right? So when you first open up a screen, one of the levels, it will tell you your rewards for each victory, and it will tell you how to get each medal of victory. For the most part, everything I've seen so far is you get 3 medals if none of your characters die. You get 2 if one dies, you get 1 if at least somebody survives and you beat the level, right? So in the beginning, the most important thing for you is going to be to 3 medal these levels, get the 3 medals, because that way what you can do is when you go back later on to make the most efficient use of your time, so you are not just time dumping yourself into this game, you can click on a level. Once you've got the 3 medals on that level, you can do what's called a raid. A raid will allow you to just continue to get whatever the rewards are. You get a certain amount of raids for each level each day. Up in the top, it will tell you how many times you can do it. A lot of levels are going to be 10. Some of them are going to be less, especially the shard levels. So when you look at some of these levels that give you your character shards, so for instance, trying to get Vindicta shards, you can only get a max of 7 per day. But if you click on the little die, you can see each time you do it, you only have a 33% chance of getting one of her shards. So if you can do 7 per day, 1 out of every 3 you're going to get, roughly you're going to get 2 to 3 shards of hers per day. I made a whole other video about leveling up characters, but let it let it be known that the important part is getting these character shards so you can get your characters leveled up. If you want to see more details on that, go to the other video, but the basics of it is that you can keep rating these levels. You're going to want to get shards, and then as you get shards and make those main characters more powerful, you will then be able to progress further in the campaign, and that will give you other characters. So the first 3 that you are going to get, Makatep, Imispec, and Alifnol, those are going to be the 3 that you need to then start the mirror campaign. So this is when I talk about the waterfall effect. You start in Indominus, that's going to be the first one that you get automatically. As you win through those levels and get these other characters, that is going to then open up the mirror. You'll open up the mirror fairly early on, so these are going to be kind of the 2 big spots that you are going to start in. As you can see, I haven't gone very far in my mirror, just because you really don't need to, um, because all of these shards that you get in the mirror in the beginning are going to be normal shards that you can get anyways. Eventually, as we move along, you're going to be able to get Calgar. Um, that's going to take a very long time, so don't be super stressed. He's not that great right now, so you don't need to get him. So again, go back to rule 1, be patient, right? Now we're going to go into kind of tip 3. We talked about this a little bit on tip 2, but it's going to be don't be afraid to replay levels. So every day, I guess this is going to kind of be a bonus tip. Every day when you log into the game, you're going to have this home page, right? You're going to see these little green icons are going to pop up when you have something to do inside there. This middle one is just kind of news, right? So it's showing us stuff. Super excited about the Eldar coming out. I can't even tell you. I play Inari on the tabletop, so seeing the Eldar is going to be really cool. when you go to all the way to the right, you're not going to have all of these immediately, right? You're going to have to play through some levels first before all of these open up, but it happens very early on. And then you get this. This is your rewards, your bonuses, your missions, they call them. And this is going to be what you're going to want to focus on. So when we talk about tip two, rewards, you got to pay attention to what you're getting because as you progress through these, again, these are going to give you the ability to go through the other campaigns. And I'll walk through a few of those just so everybody kind of has an idea. All right, so every day, once you get to a certain level, you will get a daily login bonus. Every day when you log in, you will just automatically get these things. They are going to give you little medals towards your mission level. They are going to give you all sorts of things. The big thing that they are going to give you is every few days you will get some more Gibba Scraps shards. Again, if you haven't seen my other video too, you can click on pretty much anything in this game and it's going to tell you what's going on. Gibba Scraps, sorry, is one of the characters that you are going to need for the Orc campaign, which is called Octarius. Once you get those 3 Orc characters, they are going to be Boss Golgrats or Boss Golgorts. Holy smokes, sorry. That's been a long week. Boss Golgorts is going to be 1, Snapareka is going to be 2, and Gibba Scraps is going to be number 3. We'll talk about how to get those a little bit, and I talked about it a little bit in the character video. But again, those are going to be the important ones. You get those through doing your daily missions. So as you can see, so see how they show us a picture of Snapareka? As you go through your daily missions and get your crates from getting through those, you will then get Snapareka shards. Okay, so you are going to want to focus on, again, we talked, I guess I called this one replay levels. Don't push, be patient, but maybe it should be um, focus on these missions. These are going to be where you get tons and tons and tons of resources, right? So just by logging in every few days, you're going to get Gibba Scraps shards. You're going to get him fairly early. Um, as you get your crates, you are going to get Boss Golgort's shards. You are also going to get him from some of these other missions that you do. So when I talk about part 2, pay attention to your rewards, pay attention to what you're getting, and make sure that you are doing the things that will get you more shards and make your characters more powerful. If you guys have any questions about that, watch the character video or feel free to leave me a comment. I'm happy to go through all of that with you. So again, going through your daily logins is going to automatically get you Gibba Scraps. We talked about number 1, be patient, right? Just be patient. Some of these things are going to take time. You are not going to have access to all of the campaigns right away, and that's okay. In the beginning, just play through the Indomitus campaign, right? If you aren't powerful enough to get 3 medals, just get through the second set as fast as you can because then you can go back. You've got Invicta shards that you can get. She's crazy powerful, really helpful in the campaigns. And then, of course, the main 3 that you are going to use, Tigurius, Certus, and Bellator. Those are going to be the main 3. And as you can see, after going through the first kind of easy stage, once you get into that second stage, early on again, you're going to have access to all 3 of their shards. So you really don't have to make it much past 24 to be able to get shards and level your characters up. But when you get to 27 and 29, some of these levels are going to let you use 5 characters. And that's when you've got Invicta. In the beginning, you're going to use our boy Incisus. He's not super great. I love apothecaries. You can see it, me talk about that in the tier list, but um, and Seiss is a super cool dude. He's just not very powerful. You're going to need him early on. You have to use him early unless you get lucky with one of your drops. But just plan on this page is going to be your main 5 that you're going to use to get through the Indomitus campaign. And eventually you will be able to make it all the way through this entire campaign just having those 5 characters. So you don't feel like you need to pay money or get all these other characters or do anything different. Just be patient, Pay attention to those rewards. Make sure you're doing your daily missions so that way you can get things. So every day, once you get to the stage where you are doing daily missions, that's going to be your main way of doing it. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pay attention to what the missions are and how you pass them. So winning 5 campaign battles, super easy. You can even raid campaign battles to get those 5, right? So raid 2 campaign battles, you can just raid 5 and get the first 2 taken care of. Play an onslaught, play 2 arenas, 3 lightning victories. We're going to go through this real quick because a lot of people are confused about that. Lightning victories. If you click on any of these levels, if you look up at the top, it is going to give you a little lightning bolt. That means you have to win the battle within that many rounds to get a lightning victory. One of the things I talked about with this, when you're paying attention to your rewards, you're doing your missions, make sure you are trying to overlap as many of these missions as you can. So, for instance, you need to win 5 campaign battles, you need to raid 2, you need 3 lightning victories. All 3 of those can be done with a normal campaign battle. So, what you can do is you don't have to do it at the newest battle. You don't have to do it way up here. You can go all the way back and easy missions that you know you've already won, you can just go through and get a lightning victory. This one's too early. Sorry about that. You can get a lightning victory here. So you can get a lightning victory and you can get Certus shards and you're winning your campaign battle all at the same time, right? So pay attention to those daily missions. Try to overlap as much of those as possible because the next tip we're going to talk about is your efficient resource use. We're not quite going to get there yet. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. There are a couple of other things that are a little confusing to people who aren't familiar with the 40K universe or just not sure on the game. Sometimes you'll have things like deal X amount of a certain type of damage. So what happens is when they tell you flame damage or physical damage or psychic damage, when you go into your character screens, it will tell you here what they do. Physical damage, psychic damage, physical damage, bolter damage. That's another one that you'll have. Psychic, um, power, bolter, flamer, projectile I've seen. So you are going to have all of these options, right? So try to, when you are going through and running through your campaign missions and trying to get these. So for instance, flame damage dealer, right? I need to deal a certain amount of flame damage. So what I can do is when I'm going back to get my lightning victories, I can use my girl Vindicta, who I'm leveling up quite a bit anyways, and I can just use her flame attacks to do a bunch of flame damage, and I can knock out that entire quest or mission or whatever you want to call it very quickly. Right? And then each time I do one of those, you'll see down here, once you've done them, at the bottom, it will tell you when they reset. So after I've done all of these and defeated a certain amount of enemies with my Imperial units, I'll get all of this stuff. And then it'll reset and I'll have a couple of days before it'll give me a new quest, right? So all of these are going to be important. Make sure you're always doing your daily missions. This is going to be the most important one. And then as you level your character up, this daily mission crate will level up and you will get better stuff. Don't be super stressed out about it. The main thing is that you're getting Snap-a-Rekka shards because you are going to want to use him to get into the Octarius campaign. Um, but don't be super stressed out about that. Just keep doing your daily missions. As your character levels up, you will get higher reward crates on there. So see tier 17, because that's my character level right now, 17, 17. Look at my character progression video, and I go over how to do that, what it means, and the best ways of doing that. All right, let's jump into number 4, the penultimate, efficient resource use. So again, I talked before about how a lot of these are going to overlap. These are going to overlap because when you're doing your daily missions, you want to make efficient use of your resources because like, let's look at these, right? So play one onslaught battle. So if I go to my battles and I scroll down, my onslaughts are up here. If you will notice, my onslaughts take a very long time for them to reset. So as you can see, I think it's about 10 hours because 448 is about half. So it's about 10 hours per time you can run this. So be careful to just blow through those every day. What you're going to want to do is, like what I'll do is, I'll run one salvage and then I'll wait until my first recharge is getting closer, and then I'll run the second salvage. I'll run my first onslaught, and then I'll wait until the second one is getting closer, and then I'll run my next onslaught. So your onslaughts, your guild raids, and your salvage runs, those are going to be the longest time periods you are going to have to wait. So sometimes you have to be careful not to blow through them so that you can do them on your daily mission the next day. They'll all give you the opportunity to do them at least once a day, but sometimes it's a little bit easier. Remember, number one, be patient. Just keep doing these for the quest rewards. And again, like we talked about, when you are paying attention to your quests and the rewards and what you're getting, you can, so for instance, again, deal 1500 flame damage, right? Play 2 arena battles. So in my arena battles, I can use Vindicta for her flamer damage and go through and get those quests. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that I didn't bring up during pay attention to rewards is we think some of these things are way more important than they are. For instance, in the arena, it's not super important that you are number one in the arena. It's not super important, to get all these crazy rewards. If you look at your rewards and what they give you for being in each league, number one is going to give you, like 10 shards, 8 shards for other characters that you own, a couple of items, right? That's number one. If you are the top person in the entire thing, if you are anywhere on there, 500 plus, you're still going to get 1 shard for this guy. You're still going to get 6 shards for a character you own. You're still going to get a couple of upgrade parts and a couple of weapons. So you still get great rewards, so don't focus on being the top one because it's not going to make that much of a difference. It does in other games, right? We're used to that. But if you look here, even when you are looking at gold, which you don't need for anything because you get a bajillion coins, like I got 151. I can't even spend as many coins as I want. Um, those don't matter. So being number one in the arena, being last in the arena are not super important. Use the arena to overlap what you are doing to get these other quests done and focus on these quests. These are going to be the most important thing to move you forward, especially as somebody who is free to play. Make sure you're using those resources efficiently. If you need to go back and play easy levels just so you can get tons of damage or just so you can kill people with Imperial units, don't be afraid to go back and do an easy level over again just to get those quests done. Don't worry if you are losing in the arena. It doesn't matter that much. Eventually, you'll want to get your victories up. So what I would say is, normally you'd want to play this top guy, right? Because you're getting the most medals. It's moving you up in the rankings. But honestly, play whichever one you have the best chance of beating. Look at your power level compared to theirs. Attack the lowest level guy you can, because the important part is getting those victories so you can get these little crates. They are going to give you Harkin. We talked a little bit before about how to get those characters. Harkin is going to be the one of the ones you need for the Fall of Cadia campaign. While I'm on the subject, the 3 chaos that you need for the Fall of Cadia campaign are going to be Archimatos. You're going to get him from doing a lot of different quests, so don't stress out about him. He's one of the most powerful characters in the game, so when you get him, use your resources to level him up. You're also going to need Angrax, which is relatively a terrible character, but he's actually not too bad in the tournament arena. He's pretty tough, and he can also bounce around. So he has some a cool movement ability on the first turn to teleport around, and then the last one is going to be Harkin. He will be one of the guys that you get, and he is also very good. You get him as epic, and you get him from doing um, the arena. The normal arena mode will give you those. Doing guild raids is what gets you the Angrax shards. He's actually really tough because you don't get a lot of shards right now. Don't be too stressed about what guild you're in. I guess this is another bonus tip. Don't be too stressed about what guild you're in. In the beginning, you're actually kind of gonna want to be in a low level guild so that you can keep getting these crates, because the important part of these crates is the orbs is going to be number one, and then number two is going to be getting your Angrax shards. So you will get those as you beat the normal guys, and then at the end of the quote unquote guild raid season, you are going to get a bunch of orbs. So that's super helpful. So again, you'll get those naturally because as part of your daily quest, you are doing those guild raids. Right now, because it's on a break, we've got lightning victories today. Tomorrow it's going to switch back over to guild raids because right now we're on a break from the guild raids. So this will change daily. If you miss a day, just know, like for instance, if yours is guild raid battle one day and you don't do it, if your guild raid is on a cooldown, this is not going to change. So you may have to wait an extra day to be able to get that done. So again, every day I log on at least once a day just to at least do the daily missions. Also, as you are getting more advanced, you will realize which one of these quests are easier or harder for your characters to do. For instance, if you don't have any characters that do flame damage, or you've only got one and it's hard, once per day you can hit refresh and you'll get another quest. So I'll show you guys an example of that. But let's say I don't think I'm going to be able to defeat 40 units that are Necrons, right? So here are my normal things. I would get one random shard that I'd get one Boss Golgor's shard. I replace it, and now I've got oh, Black Legion's power. So I got a usability with Black Legions. This time instead I get a badge instead of a shard, but I still get a Golgorts. So these are going to be the ways you get your Golgorts. And again, Black Legion units, right? So if I need to get this quest done, I can use my arena things, use my Black Legion guys, and go through and get those quests finished up. If you're not sure, you're new to the world of 40K, again, click into these things and they will tell you, or if you go to your characters, there are two ways to sort them. You can do it by faction, or you can do it by power. By faction will show you, so here's your orcs, here's your ultramarines. You saw one of my quests was defeat ultramarines, one of them was defeat necrons, use abilities from Black Legion characters. So again, I can use these guys in the arena just to use their abilities just so I can get those quests done. So try to do that as efficiently as you can, because when you're free to play, that's going to be super important to you. All right, I think the last one that I'm going to go over, I'm going to throw in a little bonus one. One of the little bonus ones is you will have access to this shop very early on. Every day you are going to get a free crate that's going to give you things. Don't stress out about it a ton if you don't get it, but it does give you a few cool things. And one of the neat things that you can do every day is you can watch a couple of ads and refresh this for free. Do not spend your Blackstone on this. Um, Blackstone is extremely hard to come by. You get it doing pretty much everything, but you're only getting one or two Blackstone per thing that you're doing. So what I like to do every day, I'll log on, I will get my rewards from here. I'll buy everything I can using coins. If I think I need something and I want to spend a little bit of Blackstone on it, here is where I'll do it. Um, Generally try not to spend your Blackstone here, but that's what you can do. And then you can just hit refresh and it'll refresh these. You won't get another crate, but you will get a couple more things that you can buy. And I try to buy everything I possibly can with coins because you're going to have way more than you need. Okay, the last one we're going to kind of focus on here is focus on your campaign heroes. I talked about this a little bit in the beginning with patience, right? But you are going to, there's a finite amount of resources in this game, especially if you're not going to throw a bunch of money at Blackstone, right? So there's only so many times you can replay levels every day to get resources or character shards or whatever. So focus on the characters that you can use inside the campaigns because they are going to be your most efficient heroes. So these first three characters are going to be kind of your three main almost throughout the entire game. Really focusing on those three is a great first tip. The next two that you're going to get, Incisus and Vindicta, you can even focus on these five and make it a very, very, very long way in this game. You can do fine in Arena, you can do fine in Guild Wars, in the tournament arena, in the onslaught battles, in everywhere, you can do fine just using your normal five campaign heroes. Okay, so you can focus on those. And then as you start to waterfall and unlock other heroes, for instance, these three to get to the Necron campaign, you can then focus on leveling them up so you can get through the Necron campaign. That's going to then reward you with other things. It will make your regular characters stronger. It will give you other resources that you'll have access to. And that will kind of waterfall into everything else. That's why I talk about the waterfall. Again, here's my 3 Black Legion guys that I need to do the Fall of Cadia campaign. So these 3 guys I'm going to focus on. Yes, it's cool that I got a couple of random Death Guard characters, right? You get Maladus early on from your first 10 pull. He's an automatic right now. These other guys, if I had have pulled them, yes, that's cool, but there are some levels of the Fall of Cadia campaign that I can only use these 3 guys. So if I level my other characters up, and I leave these 3, there are going to be certain levels that I won't pass or I won't be able to 3-star. And unfortunately, that's going to set me way back. So I always want to focus on, as a free-to-play player, focus on the characters that are going to be able to be used in the most different places. All right. Again, I'll wrap it up there. This was a lot longer than I wanted it to be, so I apologize. I'll try to slim it down a little bit if I can. But I hope you guys learned something. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I do my best to respond to all of them. Make sure you join us in the Discord because we're talking every day on there. I can't wait for the Eldar. Thank you for Snowprint. I love this game so much. I've been really enjoying it. I hope you guys have too, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.